we are better than AI. So we have real intelligence, right? So
Yeah.
it's daily when we go to Amazon or any of the e-commerce website, we get different product recommendations, right? So
Yeah.
most of these product recommendations are based on what we have done in the past. So if we have used, like, for example, credit card,
Yeah.
and some for typically buying books or any kind of sunglasses, for example. So in the next product recommendations, you typically see advertisements for sunglasses or books.
Yeah.
So these are typical product recommendations that is based on, that's one simple application of machine learning. If you look at other more interesting applications, primarily in healthcare, if you look at drug discovery, so for example, for any new vaccine to be developed, that is one drug discovery. Diagnostics, particularly people having cancer, tumor, how do you analyze those data? That is one area. Manufacturing, typical applications. Then you have banking and finance. The main application is in banking and finance.
Yes.
One is risk assessment, another is fraud detection.
Fraud detection.
Yes.
Welcome to our podcast, sir. Okay,
Welcome.
Our podcast is Digital Soch, and today we are going to talk with the Venkataraman Pandurangam sir, and he is from IIT Tirupati, an associate professor of Department of Mechanical Engineering. Welcome, sir.
Thank
to
you.
Our podcast.
Thank you for the
Okay,
invitation.
so today we are going to talk about the data science, machine learning, and its application in the daily life, and its application in other field of the sciences and social sciences also. Okay, so how long have you been here in Nepal, sir?
This has been almost a week now. Yeah, so far it's been very nice. It's a wonderful place, and we have been around the city and a lot of temples, meeting students, and we've also been to Pokhara. So it has been a very nice trip.
So we go to 3 topics, sir. Okay, so could you introduce and describe your background in the mathematics, particularly in the field of machine learning and data science, sir?
So I am a mechanical engineer, but I mainly work in the field of computational mechanics, which is a field of applied mathematics, if you could call that. So recently my work has been mainly in using machine learning and related algorithms for applications in mechanical engineering. So that's been my main work. So I apply machine learning algorithms to engineering.
For what purposes, sir?
So currently we are working on different aspects. We work on using it for composites design. We also work on manufacturing, so quality control. We are also working on spray diagnostics. These are some of the typical applications we are currently working on.
Okay, so what are the machine learning and data science, and how do they relate to mathematics?
So the very commonly accepted definition of machine learning is that it gives it's a field of science or mathematics where it gives the ability. It provides the ability for computers to learn something from the data without explicitly being programmed.
Yeah.
So no explicit instruction. So it just learns from the data. So it's some kind of looking at the data and making some sense out of it. That's machine learning. Data science has more to do with collecting data, analyzing data, and visualizing data. So it's a little broader in that sense.
So what are the key mathematics principles and techniques that underpin the machine learning and the data science?
So if you look at the main areas of mathematics that are used in machine learning, it's mainly linear algebra, because you have to analyze or you have to do some kind of manipulation with the data. Probability and statistics. Then you have calculus, mainly to do with optimization. So these are the broad areas in mathematics that have very relevant applications in machine learning.
Okay, so how do the statistics play a role, right? And for the development of the machine learning and the data science analysis and data analysis.
So statistics also is used in a lot of different aspects in machine learning, like regression analysis, Bayesian hypothesis, to compare the performance of different models. So many of these aspects are, the underlying principle is probability or statistical models. So it also helps in some kind of uncertainty quantification. So these are some of aspects where statistical learning is.
So how do the machine learning and the data science integrate with other fields such as the computer engineering, computer science, economics, and what are that interdisciplinary interrelation?
So if you look at it, mainly computer science engineers develop the algorithms.
Yeah.
Engineers apply those algorithms for different fields.
Yeah.
Economics, if you look at it, mainly they have a lot of data, so it really helps them in analyzing those large quantities of data. So in some sense, machine learning has some application in all fields. So computer science develop the algorithms, engineers apply.
Yeah. And what are the that applications of the that machine learning, data science, real life applications, and that normal people and can also feel about these applications we are feeling from this machine learning and the data science through everyday applications or national development. It may have the applications or technological advancements.
So if you look at your daily, when we go to Amazon or any of the e-commerce website, we get different product recommendations, right?
Yeah.
So most of these product recommendations are based on what we have done in the past. So we have used, like, for example, credit card, and some for typically buying books or any kind of sunglasses, for example. So in the next product recommendations, you typically see advertisements for sunglasses or books. So these are typical product recommendations that is based on, that's one simple application of machine learning. If you look at other more interesting applications, primarily in healthcare, if you look at drug discovery, so for example, for any new vaccine to be developed, that is one drug discovery. Diagnostics, particularly people having cancer, tumor, how do you analyze those data? That is one area. Manufacturing, typical applications. Then you have banking and finance. The main application is in banking and finance. One is risk assessment, another is fraud detection. Yes.
Right. Okay.
So the same thing is in insurance. Again,
is that inscription method is process is related to data science also?
Encryption, data encryption.
Hacking is
no, that is not related to data science. That is more to do with how do you handle data. If there is a personal information that is there, it's typically encrypted so that you don't. That's more to do with how do you handle data ethically. Yes.
So can you please address another more also interesting examples?
So you can use it in traffic management.
Traffic management. Okay.
Yes.
So how traffic can be managed with the help of this?
So you can predict. So based on all the past data, where should I position my signals, or how do I analyze what is a typical? How do I plan for public transport, for example? Which are the routes I should plan? Fleet management, supply chain. Fleet. I mean, fleet of buses. So if I have buses, so should I run it between Kathmandu or Pokhara or some other place?
Sure.
So something like that. So how do I handle all the fleet of public transport? So those are some other typical. When main application is surveillance, something to do with security. So you have constantly under threat of different. You have threats, right? So how can I analyze data and see if there's any threat, whatever kind of threat it is?
So means hacking.
No, we are not talking about
okay.
hacking threats.
Okay. Hacking threats. Okay. So other the social threats.
Social threats.
So
it can also help in climate change predictions. So what will be the impact of climate?
So how that climate change is analyzed with the help of the data science and this machine learning process?
So I typically don't work in climate science, but what I understand is that all these, again, when we talk about climate, global warming, all of this has to do with large quantities of data. So machine learning, it's not that machine learning models are new. So they have been there for quite some time. So it's just that in the recent decade, we have access to a large quantity of data.
Exactly.
So it really helps. Algorithms were already there. It's just that now we are using those algorithms effectively because we have access to computational resources, and we have large quantities of data. So that's where it is.
Okay. So what are that challenges in implementation? Right, main challenges faced when implementing machine learning and data science solutions, both technically and socially.
So one major challenge is how do you get data? So in many engineering fields, So machine learning algorithms are data hungry in the sense you require a large quantity of data in order to train them and get effective predictions. So in order to get access to a large quantity of data, there has to be some method. So getting access to data is one major challenge.
Challenges. Okay.
Then once you have data, then you have issues with regards to ethical issues. So if it's a medical data, then there are ethical issues. There is personal information related to people. So how do I protect privacy and all that? That is one issue that typically. And the other biggest challenge with machine learning is explainability. So how do I explain the predictions from machine learning models? Typically, machine learning models are seen as black box models in the sense that it's very difficult to explain why it came up with a particular prediction.
Yeah.
So now recently they're working more on how can I better explain my prediction instead of just giving a prediction.
Okay, that going to the data privacy and security. How can data privacy and security be ensured in the era of the big data and machine learning?
So, okay, again, as engineers, we really don't really worry about too much of data privacy. But let's say machine learning is used in banking and financial industry. Their personal information is of paramount importance, right? So they have to be protected. So typically it's anonymized. The data is anonymized. Anything related to your name is removed. Information about your name, gender, or whatever, it is removed. That is one aspect. They can also encrypt data so that it is not mishandled. And they also should be, I'm sure there are guidelines and policies on handling these kind of data. So that has to be followed.
That should be followed.
That depends on the domain of application. So
of applications.
In engineering applications, typically it's not very sensitive. But if it's something related to an industry which is trying to
industry or company who are using who are working on the software development company who take the data, right? In this case, we need to be sensitive.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So, and what are the ethical considerations related to the use of the machine learning and the data science in decision making process? Okay, so we take the data and for the decision making process, data is required, sir, right? So is this ethical to do that things?
No, it's okay to get information, but just that when we are developing machine learning models, we should be mindful of the fact that it should not be biased towards a particular community, religion, gender. So a machine learning model should not be biased with regards to the gender. For example, if a man and if women apply for a loan, it should not just give a prediction based on the gender. It should not be biased towards a particular gender, community, or whatever. So bias in the model is something that we have to take care.
So that the era of the artificial intelligence is developing, right, sir? So what is the importance of this data science and machine learning for the artificial intelligence world?
Now, at present, whatever we are working is predominantly machine learning. AI is built when you bring more and more complexity. So when we are bringing AI and automation, you'd have heard of automated cars, natural language processing. Those are some areas where when we talk about AI, we are talking about something that is close to human behavior. So something that we can mimic with a computer. So that is something, those kind of applications like language processing, automation, those are some applications we're looking at.
Yeah. So what are some emerging trends and the future directions in machine learning and the data science research and applications?
One is explainability in AI. So they're trying to come up with models which can be more explained in a better way. The predictions can be more explained.
Yeah, exactly.
So the other area that I could think of is physics-informed networks. So where the physics of the problem is somehow integrated. So we come up with predictions where I can explain. So the underlying physics is incorporated. That is one typical area that is emerging. Explainability and physics-informed neural networks. Those are some areas. Yeah.
Sure. And what skills and knowledge are essential for the students aspiring to entering into the field of that machine learning and the data science?
So if you're a student, the basic thing is you should build your fundamental math skills. So all machine learning requires a strong foundation in mathematics, linear algebra, probability, calculus. These are non-negotiable at all. So any student aspiring to build his career in machine learning should make sure that he's proficient in all these areas. The other thing is that he should build up his coding skills, be it in any language, any programming language. So he should build a programming language. And then once he has done these 2 steps, he should try to get some hands-on experience with working with an industry or some real life applications, or take data for some real life applications and build his machine learning models. You can also reach out to any of these GitHub, LinkedIn community groups where others are also working in machine learning and related areas, and then you try to join those community groups and see what's happening. You should also update yourself on what is happening in the field. So that is something important.
Do you have any final advice for the listeners, interested in pursuing careers or further studies in the machine learning and the data science? And what is the scope of this machine learning and the data science? Right now, everybody talks about the machine learning, data science, machine learning, data science. And is this actually big employment opportunity, creating big employment opportunities, or in which industries people can get job?
So as per one of the recent statistics, so the market size for machine learning and related areas is something projected to be around $800 billion in 2030. So of which Asia Pacific alone accounts for some 30%. So there's definitely going to be a lot of different jobs out there. So if somebody can equip themselves with machine learning, definitely they're going to end up in a good job. But as I said earlier, many of the students or people who are interested in machine learning, they're interested in the hype about the word machine learning and AI, but that is alone not sufficient. So industries are looking at people who understand. It's not like using it as like a black box. I just use it, machine learning, as a black box, like a toolbox. So if somebody has to build a career in machine learning, he should have the domain expertise. He should have the programming skills. He should understand the basics, and only then he will be able to apply it and do a meaningful job at it. Otherwise, it'll just be like a hype. That's it. It has a tremendous scope, but the student has to.
So will AI replace the human identity, sir? What do you think about these things?
Replace human identity? I mean, that's a difficult question. Only the time can answer. At this point of time, humans are intelligent enough, is what I guess.
Humans are creating AI.
We are better than AI. So we have real intelligence, right? So
sure. Thank you so much, sir, for coming to our podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
For your valuable words.
Thank you.
Welcome.